Hello students, today we are going to study the topic respiratory system in humans. So basically the process of respiration from the chapter life processes. Okay, so yes, when we are talking about the respiratory system, let us study about the parts present in the respiratory system in the humans. Okay, the parts involved, that is the nose, the nostrils, the nasal passage, the pharynx, okay, epiglottis, glottis, larynx, trachea, cartilaginous rings, bronchus, bronchiole, alveoli, then the covering of the lungs known as pleural membrane, and yes, between the membrane, pleural fluid is present, the diaphragm, okay. So these all comprises of the respiratory system. Okay, so let us see the process, what is going on. First, the nose, okay, which has got two nostrils. The air enters from the nostrils. When does the air enter? When does this breathing takes place or taking in of the air happens? Actually, when the pressure inside the lungs becomes less. It means when the intrapulmonary pressure is less inside the lungs, less in terms of what? The atmospheric pressure. Okay? When it is less, the process of breathing, taking in, inspiration, okay? The taking in of the air consisting of oxygen takes place. Okay? And when the air enters the nasal passage, then here small hairs are present. The function of these small hairs is to filter the air. It means if the dust particles have entered into the nose, okay, the nasal passage, it filters the dust so that it does not totally move inside the trachea or the windpipe. Okay. So here, after filtering the air comes to the pharynx. Pharynx is a common passage for the esophagus as well as for the trachea. Okay. And yes, when we are breathing in, the epiglottis covers the esophagus and the passage for this windpipe opens. Okay. So here, as respiration is being taking place, as we are taking in oxygen-rich air, this epiglottis opens, okay, the flap opens and it covers the esophagus. Okay, here now this air enters the glottis area. After this, it enters the larynx. Larynx, you can see a box-like structure. Actually, it is the voice box. It helps us in speaking. From here only the voice comes out. Okay. Now, this air then enters the trachea. Trachea is also known as windpipe. Okay. So this windpipe, actually, what is the function of these rings of the cartilage? Okay. In this, if it is not present, suppose, then it can't keep the trachea firm. It prevents the trachea from collapsing. If it is not present, nothing of support is present in the windpipe, it will collapse. Okay. So now after entering this trachea, it reaches the main branch which we say bronchus. Okay. And this bronchus, it is divided into number of branches and that is known as bronchioles. Okay, so this air enters from the bronchus to the bronchiole. Okay, and from there it enters small sac-like structures. Here the bronchioles terminates in small sac-like structures known as alveoli. So this function of this alveoli is that here it increases the surface area for the diffusion of the air. Okay, and as it increases the surface area, large amount of oxygen can be also inhaled. Okay, so as here now in the alveoli, okay, it is consisting of oxygen-rich air. and it is covered by what? The capillaries. Capillaries run through this alveoli. So here what happens, as the concentration of the oxygen is more in the alveoli, it diffuses in the blood capillaries, in which the concentration of oxygen is less. So here movement of high concentration oxygen area to the movement of low concentration area takes place, and that is only the process of diffusion. Okay, so from here the blood capillaries, okay, the blood capillaries, these passes this oxygen rich air to pulmonary vein. Okay, pulmonary vein. This pulmonary vein, okay, which is the main vein, bringing the oxygen rich air to the heart. Okay, this heart then pumps this oxygenated blood to different parts of the body, which is consisting of the digested food. Digested food, where this oxygen oxidizes the digested food, and this carbon dioxide as byproduct is released out. So this blood consisting of carbon dioxide is known as what? Deoxygenated blood. This CO2 through the bloodstream, okay, by vena cava, which is the main vein, reaches the heart again. And from the heart, this deoxygenated blood, consisting of what? Carbon dioxide, through the pulmonary artery reaches where? The lungs again, where now the concentration of carbon dioxide is more in the blood capillaries rather than the alveoli. So it again diffuses in the alveoli, okay, and then through bronchiole, and then through bronchus, trachea, and pharynx, and nasal passages, and nostrils. This carbon dioxide is given out. So here, taking in all this oxygen-rich air and giving out the carbon dioxide is known as what? Breathing just. Okay, taking in of oxygen-rich air and giving out carbon dioxide. Taking in is the inspiration, and giving out of the carbon dioxide is expiration. Okay, and here when we talk about respiration, it is the whole procedure which is going on, taking in of oxygen, then converting, oxidizing the digested food, okay, and then releasing out of carbon dioxide, and then moving towards the lung and giving out. Whole process is known as respiration. Okay, now what is this pleural membrane then? This pleural membrane actually covers the whole lungs, okay, and between this, what is present? The pleural fluid. So what is the function of this pleural fluid? Actually it helps, or it supports the lungs, okay. Whenever there is a shock, okay, it prevents from the shock, okay. Now another structure, diaphragm, is there. What happens when you are inspiring the air, you are taking in air, this diaphragm contracts, and when you are giving out air, this relaxes. The diaphragm relaxes. So this helps in basically inspiration and expiration. Okay. Now, some common diseases related to respiration. Okay, like asthma. A normal people, when we say a healthy person breathes 16 to 20 times, or 12 to 16 times, or even we can say till 20 times, okay, per minute. But what happens in asthma? The patient runs in short of oxygen, because you'll be seeing that he or she is going on inspiring. Why? What happens in that? Actually, here the surface area for accommodating the oxygen gets decreased. Okay, and as the result, the person is in short of oxygen, and he or she goes on breathing goes on breathing, taking in oxygen very, very frequently rather than a normal person. When we talk about a person who smokes a lot, what happens? The chemicals gets accommodated in this alveoli, thereby decreasing the surface area. Okay, and as the surface area decreasing, naturally he or she will run in short of oxygen. Yes, when person runs in short of oxygen, they are kept on ventilators. Okay, so this is all for the respiratory system in humans. Hope you might have understood it. Good day. Take care.